All right, I think that we are ready. Good morning, Kahal Kadosh, Beruchim Aba'im to everybody. Shushan Purim, Erev Shabbat Kodesh, Perashat Tzav, Makam Bayat. Purim in the city of Yerushalayim, Erev Kodesh today. The way the Gemara brings down in the Masechet Megillah. So we hope that Be'ezat Hashem, everyone had a beautiful celebration of Purim, wherever you may have been. And for our brethren in Yerushalayim, we also wish them to have a Purim Sameach. And I like to start the class with something that we learned inside in the name of the Moed Kol Hai, that it says that a person who was not able yesterday outside of Israel to do the mitzvot relevant to Purim, like the Seudah, Matanot Le'Evyonim, Mishloach Manot, etc., should take advantage of the day and do them today. Because since Yerushalayim Eir HaKodesh is celebrating today, we get a free ride with the behavior in Yerushalayim. But I'd like to expand on this idea of what Shushan Purim celebration is all about. The source of Shushan Purim celebration, it actually comes from the Megillah. It comes from the Megillat Esther, that Esther requested to Ahashverosh, please give the citizens of Shushan an extra day to defeat their enemies. And that's exactly what happened. But I saw today a fascinating hidush concerning this particular day. And it comes from a great rabbi, Rabbi Menachem of Vishnitsa. Vishnitsa is under attack. Is a city in the Ukraine. Okay, and 200 years ago, there was this great rabbi, Rabbi Menachem. I put it together because I saw the map of where the attacks are taking place. And if you look at the map, and you're familiar with a bit of Jewish history, you're going to find a lot of cities that are part of real tzaddikim who lived there. The Ukraine and Russia was perhaps the hub of Hasidic masters from the time of the Baal Shem Tov. Even the Baal Shem Tov himself in the Ukraine. Bardichov in the Ukraine, Zitomir, Balatania, all these tzaddikim are there, of course. So he comes and it says in his Sefer called Semach Tzaddik, and it says that on the day of Shushan Purim, it's also a mega day of happiness and celebration. And the question is, why? We understand in Yerushalayim that they are celebrating Purim, but what about outside of Yerushalayim? Of course, they are happy in Yerushalayim, we are happy that they are happy. But why he says that today's Simcha is also a requirement? So he brings an interesting source from the great Minchat El-Azhar, and it says as follows. I like to show it to you from the Chumash, because the source is the Perashah. Right here. This was actually the reading that we read yesterday. Yesterday's reading also is about Amalek, correct? But instead of being Zachor from Perashah Kitese, is Zachor from Perashah Beshalach. And that's why the Pasuk says, Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, Ketov Zot Zikaron Basefer. Zikaron, Zachor means a reminder. But listen to the Hidush of the Minchat El-Azhar, says the Semach Tzaddik. And it says that you find it in the Perashah. Listen to this. Vayomer Moshe Mizbeach, Moshe builds an altar, and he calls it Amonai Nisi. Hazak, that's your mitzvah parsha, right? Hazak ubaru. God is my miracle. Beautiful. Beautiful name. Beautiful name of a mizbeach, meaning to say that the place that they were there, a mega miracle happened. What happens? By Yahalosh, they were able to decimate Amalek. So you know there is a halakha that says that if you travel to a location that a miracle took place, you're supposed to say a blessing. Baruch she'asa li nes b'makom hazeh. Blessed be the one that made a miracle for me in this location. I personally have 2 locations in Miami that when I travel, I say the beracha for the miracle. One is Collins Avenue on 178th Street. Today became the Aqualina. Okay? 30 some years ago, 1987, 35 years ago, no, 45. 35. I'm correct, right? 35. I'm not that old. Thank God. 35 years ago, I had a severe car accident right in front of the Aqualina. When Aqualina didn't exist, it was nothing. It was an empty lot, or was maybe a colonial hotel, the two floors motel, $20 a night, whatever. Dangerous also. If you remember those days in Miami, Miami, the Gan Eden that you see today, Sunny Isles, it wasn't what it is today. Remember those days? Don't ask. Literally, disaster. Anyways, so I had an accident there. Thank God I survived. I was in the hospital for a week, cracked sternum, broken ribs, nose, stitches. You gotta see my engagement picture. And this happened before my engagement. And I destroyed my father-in-law's car. And the biggest miracle of all was that he allowed me to marry his daughter still. True story, by the way, true story. That's why every time I drive by there, I say this beracha. The other place, I was driving with my father, alav shalom, 95 south, like going to Miami Airport, 112. Back then, there was a parking spot for behind the fence, MacArthur Dairy, and a truck backed up into the light pole. As I'm driving on the highway, this light pole is collapsing, and it fell right in front of us. We were here, 3 feet away, 4 feet away from the pole. Nes Gadol, Baruch Hashem. So Moshe Rabbeinu did exactly the same. A miracle happened, I'm going to celebrate. Listen to the next pasuk. The next pasuk is complicated because there is a lot of facts in this verse, and I, with Hashem's help, obviously, will try to explain it to the best of my abilities. It's not simple, but we'll try together. So pray for me, please. Okay, you ready? Beautiful. Bayomer, ki yad al kes yad. Ki yad, the hand of Hashem. The hand is on the throne of Hashem. Milchama laHashem ba'Amalek midor dor. Hashem maintains a war with Amalek from generation to generation. Comes Rashi and asks, why there is a war against Amalek? Even an Egyptian Gentile who wants to become part of the Jewish people, we welcome them. 3 generations delay acceptance. That's the way it goes. Dor Shelishi Yavo Bikal Hashem. The third generation can come and be part of the Jewish people. And why the Torah allows us to welcome the Egyptian? Because the Egyptian nation provided room and board for the Jewish people for 210 years. Which to us, it doesn't make sense. We were slaves. They hurt the Jewish people. They hunted the Jewish people. But yet the Torah says, don't worry. They gave you room and board. You owe them. You welcome them, third generation. I'm not talking about third generation cell phone. If you have a third generation cell phone, it's before the flip. That antiquated, the third generation is. Today we are in, I don't know what number. 13th already? Chazaku Baruch. Anyways, so the question is, Rashi asked, why? Why in Amalek? And it says as follows. The short answer is that Amalek and Paro were different. Paro from Egypt did a lot of things wrong. But he had an interest in doing something to hurt us. He wanted free labor. He wanted slavery. We're not justifying it, but rationally we understand Paro. What about Amalek? What did we do to Amalek? Nothing. We were not in their land. They were not over us. They went out to attack us. So out of hatred, Amalek attacks the Jewish people. God says, you attack the Jewish people for no reason at all, out of your own animosity. Now you are at war with me. Comes Rashi and it says, Nishba HaKadosh Baruch Hu. God took a vow, She'en Shemo Shalem, that his name will not be complete, and his throne will not be complete, until Esav, aka Amalek, is out of the mission. If you look at the Perashah, Bayomer, Ki Yad al Kes. What word is Kes in Hebrew? Kiseh is missing the Aleph. You read Kes. That means God's throne is incomplete. But comes the great Minchat el-Azar, quoted by the Semach Sadik, and it says, Bayomer Ki Yad. Yad was yesterday, the 14th of Adar. Al-Kes Yah, the 15th of Adar. 14th of Adar and 15th of Adar. And the Pasuk connects the salvation to the 15th of Adar, to today's day. And therefore it says, the Merumaz, it says, the Torah mentions the 14th of Adar, Ubiyom Hamisha Azar, Be'Hashem HaKadosh Yah. This is a few times that we come across, okay? I'm back. 30 days away from Pesach. Now I think that the message of Shushan Purim is very interesting, and Be'ezat Hashem will take advantage to do some extra prayers and supplement the mitzvot accordingly. Whoever was not able to do it yesterday, obviously take advantage to the day of today. Just 1 second, I see something interesting. The Torah Temet writes that according to the halacha, how early can you read Megillat Esther, and how late you can read Megillat Esther. The earliest is the 11th of Adar. Megillah נקראת ביד, בט"ו, בתז. The latest you can fulfill the mitzvah properly is when? Till the 16th of 16 or 17, according to the Gemara, that you're allowed to read the Megillah. Interesting. It's like you have Hol HaMoed of Purim. You have Isru Hag of Purim. Extra days. I know that halachically we don't do it. I don't know people that ever read the Megillah. We don't do it. I don't know people that ever read the Megillah past the day of Purim, unless the person had a situation. Actually, I do remember that I had a case like this in COVID. No, Yerushalayim, they do it today, that's automatic. But I remember when was the real COVID? 2020, right? That's when we started?
January.
No, but we started here, March, around Purim time. So last year, Purim and COVID also. Some things were different because I look at the files of the synagogue and I remember we had 6 minyanim of Megillah reading simultaneously. Outdoor minyan, indoor minyan, no se'udah, no party, etc. So I remember vividly about a peculiar case of someone that wasn't feeling well at all at home. Thank God, not in the hospital. Okay? And nobody was able to go to read the Megillah. And the person didn't know how to log in through Zoom. So I think that in that case, the Megillah was read 2 days later without beracha. Because halachically, if you want to read the Megillah 10 days from today, it's permissible. You have no Hashem's name. You can read, although God's name is hinted in the Megillah, we know that, but there is no issue whatsoever to read the Megillah, simply because, obviously, we read it in these days because there is a pasuk that says, Davar ve'ito matov. There is certain things that when you do them on a timely manner, that is when is the proper time to do it. That's why yesterday, when we say Ala Nisim, right, we added the Ala Nisim prayer. Okay, what do we say? Bayamim ahem bazeman hazeh. So what does that mean? Every time we say this statement, Bayamim ahem bazeman hazeh, it means that we are reliving, at least on the timely manner. In other words, when do you have breakfast? In the morning or in the evening? Usually when I say the word breakfast means what? Breakfast. Okay? And when you have lunch, usually means noontime. And if I say brunch, means in between. Not too early, not too late. The same thing in the Megillah. When the pasuk says, Bayamim ahem bazeman hazeh, it means that the 24 or 48 hours of Purim, this is when there is all the spiritual action and benefit of the miracles of Purim. So, Be'ezat Hashem, we hope and pray that whatever anyone may have been for Purim, that you had a beautiful, beautiful celebration. And Be'ezat Hashem, from Purim, we go directly into Pesach mode. And Be'ezat Hashem, the reason why we celebrate Purim on the 2nd of Adar, although usually when there is the concept of mitzvot, there is a halacha that says, Zerizim makdimim lemitzvot. Those with agility, they do the mitzvah as early as you can. But in Purim is the exception. We delay the mitzvah for 30 days. And the question is, how come? If you're telling me that Mila should be done as early as you can, and any mitzvah connected to the day, do it as early as you can, why in Purim you delay, a 30-day delay? It says very simple. כדי לסמוך גאולה לגאולה. In order to magnify the miracle, we combine the miracle of Purim with the miracle of Pesach, which, by the way, Purim has a direct connection with Lag BaOmer, as the Pasuk in Tehillim says, Peleg Mayim, the Pe for Purim, and the Lag for Lag BaOmer. So if you want to know when Lag BaOmer will be, see when Purim was. And that gives you the time. Like Pesach is Tisha B'Av, the first night of Pesach is the first night of the night of Tisha B'Av, the night of Purim is the night of Lag BaOmer. So if you will check the calendar now, you'll see what night will be Lag BaOmer. Check it out, and then you confirm that I'm accurate.
Anyone lose $10 outside of the garage?
It's a great question. If somebody lost $10,
Put it in the Bishka.
okay, identify yourself. Otherwise, give it to the needy. He has an envelope for the needy. If somebody comes and asks for it, to the office. Yeah, thank you so much. Chazak Baruch. It's a good answer. Okay, let's devote a few moments for the parasha of today, Parashat Sam. Parashat Sam is a very interesting parasha, not only because it discusses the concept of the korbanot. Again, Sefer Vayikra, it's all about the korbanot, but there is a very interesting pasuk that I think that is relevant for each and every one of Am Israel. Okay, then for the entire Jewish world. The pasuk is found right in the beginning of the parasha. The parasha writes in the beginning, let me just find the pasuk, talks about the concept of the Mizbeach. The concept of the Mizbeach was the altar in the Mishkan, the altar in the Bet HaMikdash. The Mizbeach was exposed. What does it mean exposed? It was in the courtyard. That's where the Kohanim will go on a ramp, like this, on a ramp. This is more or less the way it looked. And then here you had the altar to burn some of the sacrifices. Comes the pasuk and it says, Esh tamid tukad ala mizbeach lo tichbe. In the mizbeach, we needed to have a fire that was constantly burning. And this fire was a fire of miracle, because this fire never got extinguished. Not even by rain or wind. That's part of the miracle. But if someone came and extinguished the fire, transgresses two negative commandments from the Torah. Be'aesh al hamizbeach tukadbo lo tichve. And then esh tamid tukad al hamizbeach lo tichve. They sound similar, but they are different pesukim. Now, comes here, it says an interesting concept that this particular pasuk also talks about the ner tamid. In the Bet HaMikdash, you had le'alot ner tamid. In synagogues, you see right in front of the Echal that there is a lamp, right, that is constantly on. We always had that light on. Why? Because in the Bet HaMikdash, that's the way it was. Now, this is the Peshat from the Pasuk. But there is a very deep message in this Pasuk. And the Pasuk says, again, I repeat the Pasuk, Esh Tamid, a constant fire, Tukad, will be burning on the Mizbeach, Lo Tichbe, don't extinguish the fire. You know what the books of Musar say about this pasuk? That this pasuk represents the neshama of the person. It says, Esh Tamid, your fire, your spiritual fire of connection with God can never be extinguished. You cannot turn off the light of your heart. Because God forbid, the moment we do that, we are disconnected. Imagine yourself, you want to log on to the Wi-Fi and you don't have the passcode. But if you have the passcode, you can connect. And then you do whatever you need to do. Hamavdil, that's what the pasuk says. The fire of the heart of the Jew must always be on. Even on a pilot mode. As long as there is fire, then there is hope. But if God forbid, Haz v'shalom, there is no connection, there is no Wi-Fi, there is no password, so how do you connect? You can have the best laptop, you can have the best iPad, the best cell phone, but if you don't have how to connect, you will never be able to use it. That's what the books of Musar say on this pasuk. The question is, why specifically the Torah uses fire? We know elsewhere that the Torah, that the Torah is compared to water. Is actually a pasuk that says, Hoy kol sameh lechu lamayim. Let the thirsty go to drink water. And the Navi means to say, your survival as a nation is connection to Torah. And let's be honest here, without Torah, without traditions, without community, who knows if we will be here today? So we all agree on that concept. What's the difference between fire and water? Water, by nature, always looks to come down. Fire, completely the opposite. Sometimes you find water on the floor. Guarantee that the water is not coming from the area that you found it. Maybe yes, but often could be, no. Something must be going on behind the wall that caused the water to come out from that location specifically, correct? This happens often. Okay, what about the fire? The fire always climbs higher and higher. As the song says, keep climbing. It's a good kosher song, of course. I always listen and sing kosher songs. No, that's Abraham Fried. Okay, keep climbing. You know, a person climbs spiritually. This is the fire. Even you try to extinguish the fire, or you turn a match or a candle upside down, what's going to be with the flame? Going up. That's the concept of the fire. The water teaches us calmness, tranquility, and humility. Water, mind. Esh, fire, usually is the opposite of water, correct? Water extinguishes the fire, fire evaporates the water. It's like two opposite extremes. But that's only happening on the planet Earth. In Shamayim, one of the reasons Shamayim is called Shamayim, one opinion says, Sham Mayim. The heaven is water. Other opinion says, Esh Mayim. The Shin of Shamayim is for fire, and the Mem is for Mayim. That's why it's called Shamayim. Sh, Esh, right? In Shamayim, fire and water are at peace, in harmony. On the planet Earth, each one has a different performance description. Marriage is exactly the same. You have Esh and Isha. Ish, Isha. Ish, Isha. Ish is the man. Isha is the wife. So if the husband is the husband and the wife is the wife, so the potential for a successful marriage is there. But if the Ish becomes Esh and the Isha becomes Esh, you have now an explosion. Because you have two fires, the fire of the husband and the fire of the wife. Now, how can the husband or wife become Esh if we call them Ish or Isha? It's just very simple. When the extra letters of their name is gone with the wind. Ish has the Yod in the middle. That's why it's called Ish. In Hebrew, often, if the first letter has a hirik, the next letter needs to be a Yod. That's why it's called Ish. If I read it without vowels, my natural inclination will say Ish. If Yod is missing, then I will say Ish. Isha, Aleph, Hirik, no Yod. But then you have it in Teruah Gedolah, Kamatz, Isha. But the third letter is the He. The husband has the Yod of Ish, and the wife has the He. What's of Hashem's name is there? Yah. What was the word of Amalek? Yah. What is Shushan Purim? Yah. So the question is, what type of marriage are you going to have? You're going to have a marriage of Amalek, or you're going to have a marriage of Yah, of godliness? Nice Rasha, right? This is your zechut. I didn't wake up thinking that I'm going to say this today. But because we saw before the Yod Ke, now we see it in marriage. Ish, Isha. Yod in the man, He in the wife. As long as the shalom, there is home, no argument, acceptance, respect, and each one acts the way Hashem made them. What does it mean? You act the way that God made you. In the books of Shalom Bayit, one of the chapters discusses the change of emotional gender in the behavior of a spouse. Today the world talks about physical alteration. Okay? We're not discussing that, God forbid. We know that that is completely against our basic principles of Torah and humanity. But the books of Shalom Bayit talk about this topic. It says when the husband acts like a wife and a wife acts like a husband, that's called the reversals of roles in Shalom Bayit, and that causes a drama in the relationship. Fascinating concept. Fascinating concept. First time I read it, I didn't understand it that well, but I read it a few times, and through personal and professional experience, it makes a lot of sense. You know, you show sensitivity, that's not for you, that's for your wife. You need to be strong, you need to be caring, you need to be loving, you need to be supportive. Be sensitive in a good way, not in a negative way. That's one of the examples that he brings in the Rabbi Shalom, Rabbi Arush book on Shalom Bayit. It says that sometimes many marriages don't succeed because they reverse the roles. of emotional behavior. And they have, he says there is a solution. God forbid, there is a solution. There is a solution by understanding what's the obligation and responsibilities and commitment that everyone needs to have when they get married. Getting married is not just I get married, I have kids. That's the easy part. Build your marriage, build a relationship is exactly what the message is being delivered today. One short concept, being Erev Shabbat, the Zohar is very short, and I'll keep it short as well, so we can get ready for Shabbat, especially since many members of our Kahal may be welcoming the early Shabbat protocol that begins today. All right, 5:40 early, 10 to 7 regular. Okay, so the Zohar Kadosh brings something that was mentioned in the past, the beauty and the power of the Shabbat. And it says, Zachor et Yom HaShabbat lekadesho. Remember the day of Shabbat to sanctify it. But here the Zohar Kadosh takes a whole new dimension, a bit different than in the past. Have a safe trip, okay? Enjoy yourself. The things are going now to a beautiful Shabbaton. Yes. They're going now, they're coming back Sunday evening. But the twist of the Shabbaton, the key of the Shabbaton, wasn't just being able to pay the subsidized fee that the synagogue is charging. You like that statement? You needed to earn tickets for coming to pray on Shabbat, right? On time, good behavior in the prayers, and coming to the Kitab classes during the weeknights. And the boys needed to qualify to get, I think, 50 or 60 tickets to earn them, and then, Baruch Hashem, many of them are going. I think 20 boys are going now. Right? 20 boys? Beautiful. 25, Rabbi Yosef. But 25 teens of our synagogue requires reinforcements. So we send 3 bodyguards and 1 rabbi, 3 bouncers, 3 monitors, let's call it the proper way. But Baruch Hashem, and they take the Sefer Torah, we provide all the meals, well behaved, you got a parve wrapped chocolate. In my days, the excitement in the synagogue was well behaved, you got a parve wrapped chocolate. Right, I'm coming there now. He was there. Okay? Better behave. You got a ticket for a Mosai Shabbat raffle to win a soccer ball. Heck, once a month there was a bicycle raffle. Stop counting. That's it. Today,
You gotta give him a Rolls Royce.
almost. Let's go. Comes the Zohar Kadosh and it says that there are 2 mitzvot in the Torah that they are connected, even though their connection is not visible, but it is visible if you look for it. The Torah says, we'll finish with this statement, Zachor et Yom HaShabbat lekadesho. Remember the day of Shabbat to make it holy. How many other mitzvot of the Torah, the topic of how many mitzvot I have that the word Kiddush is there. So let's start. One of them, Kiddush Levana. That's the name. Kiddush Levana. Blessing of the moon. I know people call it Birkat Levana, but the real term is Kiddush Levana. That's one. Nice. But that's once a month. Next one, marriage. Kiddushin. That's the name of the ceremony under the chuppah. Third one, Shabbat and holidays. You come from the synagogue, what do you make? Kiddush. And there is one more, it says the Zohar Kadosh. Shemirat HaBerit. The Berit Milah. That's why when the Mohel is about to do the Milah in some congregations, what they say, Or Berit Kodesh. And that's the blessing that we say in the Berit Milah. In the Berit Milah, right here, Divine Providence, we have Kiddush. That's what we have in the Berit Milah. After we finish all the prayers before the Milah, after the Mohel did, Sauri Maranan, like Kiddush, Bore Priya Gefen, Asher Kiddush, sanctify, Ze Yedidenu Zera Kodesh. Our descendants are manufactured through holiness. So it says the Zohar Kadosh, the importance of the Berit Milah. It's like observing Shabbat. In other words, a person may be Shomer Shabbat, but it's not Shomer HaBerit. Or a person could be Shomer HaBerit, but not Shomer Shabbat. It says you can't separate them. Like marriage, Kiddushin, means uniting husband and wife. Shabbat Kodesh and the Berit Milah, they are Siamese brothers. You can't separate them. They support each other and they supplement each other. What a Hiddush of the Zohar Kadosh. Unbelievable. My good friends, I'm going to stop talking for today. At least for this class. I do have a couple of appointments upstairs, but Be'ezrat Hashem, for the Torah audience, we hope that everybody had a beautiful, beautiful Purim. Enjoy the blessing.